Yes, the crown's a little crooked this morning. Good morning. So many projects. How do we get them done and be productive? Well, let's everyone share some of our strategies on how we do that today, and I'll share with you some of mine. But wow, that chat is just really going this morning. Michelle and Andrea have been here early and having quite the discussion with each other this morning. And Judy Hebert is also here with us. Mona is here. Mike and Danielle are lurking as they're working. And let me see who else is here. I hope I haven't missed anyone. And in the replay, hello, Sister Debbie. For later, Christine is here, just popping on with us. Welcome to you. And Carol is here as well. Love my, yeah, I'm wearing it a little crooked. I don't deserve to have it on straight right now. So, but yeah, and it's a little on the tight side. So I think we will go ahead. We will remove the crooked crown and straighten the hair back up. But yes, I've demoted myself a little bit from being, the queen of the works in progress. Of course, I still have many, many, many works in progress, and thus our discussion this morning concerning those. But and Mona says that her daughter had that crown. She did. Well, how'd I end up with it, Mona? No, just kidding. But okay, I think if I missed anyone that got up and shoo, zipped right up that chat, I apologize. But thank you all for joining me this morning. And I also want to apologize that I will be using some notes this morning because there's a lot of things I wanted to go over and I didn't want to forget any of them. So I do have a little talking points notes down here that I will be glancing at once in a while as we go along. But how many of you get overwhelmed by the number of works in progress, UFOs, whatever you want to call them, but all the projects that you have going in your areas? I know normally I don't, but here lately they are just kind of closing in on me. So I have got to come up with a better way. I always, am organized and have a method. There's, a method to my madness at all times. But I need to get more disciplined and come up with a better way of dealing with all of the works in progress that I have. So, going to talk about that. I need some diamonds around my neck to match. I have a birthday coming up. Maybe I should make some hints about that, Mona. That would be awesome. But the only thing that Mona is queen of is chips and ice cream. Okay, well, that can be a good thing. Oh, the more the better. I get distracted easily. All right. Oh, and Vintage Style by Joe is here also. Yes, I did miss that. And she is saying hello to Mike and Mona. And Andrea says, I have an organized mess. Okay. But first of all, what I did want to talk about on when it comes to having so many projects and how you are able to choose what project to do and still remain productive is you do need to be a little bit organized. Um, yeah, I know a lot of us work in unorganized chaos at times, but it does help if you have and try to stick with some form of organization in that because it does help to know what projects do you have, what do you store them in to keep them together and organized so they're not all over the place and you lose parts of it here and there maybe as you go along. And I forgot the other train of thought on it, but oh, and how do you know where they are? That was the other thing. So I do have a method that I pretty much follow the majority of the time for that. Every once in a while, like I say, it may feel like it's closing in on you. And if you don't corral them and get them under control and maybe add a few extra new rules as you go along, you can run out of space. The saying, you can never have too much fabric, at times, I have come to a stage in my life that yes, you can have too much fabric. It is possible. So, how do I store my projects? First of all, I am a lover of the art bins. And when I was redoing my old stitching room and moving out to the stitching cottage, I had the benefit of getting to have some storage things custom designed for the area that I was moving into. So, good morning, Kathy from Kathy's Quilts and Crafts. Welcome to you. And yes, a lot of us, Andrea says that she took over the living room because her sewing room was too small. It has become my fabric and yarn storage room. I've taken over more than one room and I'm getting ready to take over my husband's workshop. But that is going to make things run a lot more smoothly. Lots of plans for that. Good morning, Lori Clark, and good morning, Lisa. She says she is lurking. Great to see you. But getting back to the art bins, that is my favorite type of storage, which for those of you that are not familiar with an art bin, this is an art bin. And they measure, oh, I think approximately 13 by 13. And they are great for keeping your projects in. Most projects, there are some, and they do have deeper ones for larger projects, but most projects you will be able to fit everything in one of these. And in addition, because I love the art bins and have so many of them, and like I said, when when the stitching cottage was being built and I was making all the plans and getting to get ready to move out here, I kept my eye on the sales. And I did purchase several of the cubes that are made to hold the art bins. And one of the cubes will hold 4 of the art bins. And let me make sure I have 8 of them. So by having 8 of the cubes, that stores 32 projects. But alas, I have way more than 32 projects. So what do I do with the rest of them? Debbie Williams is also here this morning. Good morning to you. And yo, Patty G, haven't seen you for a while. Welcome, Patty. Great to see you as well. And so with Debbie is here this morning also, as is Melissa. Welcome to all of you popping in. And Maritza, all of a sudden, wow, everybody is just coming in at the same time. But welcome to all of you. But in addition to the cube units that hold the art bins, I also have what was known, they used to have a store called RTA. No, it didn't have anything to do with buses. RTA stood for Ready to Assemble, and you were able to customize areas using those types of units. And I was lucky enough, Teresa Louise, welcome to you. Good morning. Sorry, as I interrupt what I'm saying to welcome those of you that are coming on. If I miss someone, sorry. But by using the ready to assemble units, I was able to customize a whole 18-foot wall by 7 feet high on the one that was in the previous room and move that all out here. And that was a custom closet system, because the closet systems have deeper shelves than if you are using like a bookcase or something. They're not as deep. And for a sewing room, a craft room, quilting, that type of thing, the deeper shelves and deeper units work a lot better for holding our stuff. So in that custom 18-foot wall by 7 foot high, I have a combination of cubes, drawers and shelves that I specifically designed by myself for my space, knowing how I was wanting to use that. And then on the opposite wall, which a lot of times you see behind me, I have cube units, and that is also an 18-foot wall by 7 feet tall. And there are two additional areas that you don't see on that 18-foot that are on the side. So in cube units, I have a total of 69 of the cubes, and they are filled. So that is also one way that I store everything. And then I also have stackable drawers. I have 3 units that are 2 drawers high, which is 6 drawers that are underneath my long arm on the front side of it. Also have storage on the back side of it. But then I also have a 7-drawer tall unit. I have a 4-drawer stackable unit and a 3-drawer unit. In addition to that, in furniture wise, I have a 6-drawer chest of drawers that I use. I have a 2-drawer with underneath shelves that is like a kitchen unit that is under here. And then right there, that's always behind me, I have the 5-drawer with an open storage area that used to be a small kitchen island that we used in our kitchen. And then right here, I pulled one of these out. I have 2 of the rolling carts. And that is the storage that I use and have. However, I have run out of room in all that storage, and I have a few projects. Like I say, they are moving in on me because I've run out of room and I don't have any place to put them. So, oh, and I also forgot to mention that I have open attic area up above that is used for storage for things that aren't being used currently. The overflow, as we call it. But yeah, Andrea says that her problem is money. I know how I want to organize, but I'm financially challenged. I envy Jean Stitching Cottage. And this was not all done all at the same time. And so, yes, there is a financial aspect to that. And that's why I say everything that I got, I made sure that it was purchased on sale or through, a clearance section or something like that. I did not pay full price for anything that I got. Well, oh, no, I even got a deal on my sewing machine, and I did get a deal on my Quilter's Dream cabinet as well. So I make sure that I watch and follow and plan and then watch for a good deal on stuff as I get that. Just making sure I haven't missed any question. Okay. I think Lisa is saying that she is on her way to the Hamptons up in Mike's area. So look out, she says. Jean is very shrewd. Okay. And Lori says that she bought a tall old dresser for projects and fabric. I don't have much. Boy, there's a point in time you wish that's all the storage that you needed. Believe me, Lori. And Lisa says that she feels you too. Small house. I buy big bins from Sam's and use those. I just label, yay, label. Yes, everything needs to be labeled, which good segue, Lisa, right into, okay, the project inventory. This little thing on top of here we'll talk about in a little bit. But this is where I have my project inventory. I have to confess, there are some projects that did not make it onto this list, and there are over 200 of them. So, wrong word, okay. Debbie says that we downsized before I started sewing and quilting again, so my area in storage is limited. Yes, no matter how big it is, everyone that quilts or does crafts or sews or whatever, their area is always limited. It is never, never large enough. And Christine says, the trash company finally delivered my new trash and recycling bins. Recycling was overtaking the corner of her kitchen. Ooh, no. But in here, I have all my WIPs, UFOs projects listed by number. It's listed by number, the name of the project, and then it also lists where it is located in the stitching cottage. Because just because you have it numbered and listed doesn't mean when you have over 200 works in progress that you are going to remember where it is. So it's important to list where it is. And then in this bag are all of those numbers. So one of the things that I do, and I have shared this before, is every month I shake up the bag. I pull a number, which this one happens to be 172. And then I would go and I will look on my inventory and I will see that, ooh, well, that would be a good one for 4th of July coming up, but it's not time to pull one yet. So, but the number 172 is Let It Wave flag kit, and it is in drawer number 4. So see, even my drawers are numbered, so I know that what drawer that is going to be in. But we are going to put that back in there because I am not pulling a new project at this time. And that is how I keep my works in progress organized and how I decide what one I will be working on next for, oops, that back in. Don't want to lose that for the most part. Love it. Craft bingo. Okay, now you get to see what is this little round thing. Well, on one side, it says start something new. And then on the other side, it says finish a WIP. And it says flip to decide. So at the end of the month or the first of the month, whichever I decide when I want to pull to see what one I'm going to pull from my works in progress to work on, I go ahead and flip the coin and put it on there. And very good, it says finish a WIP because I had decided that no, I can't be starting any new except for a couple special projects that I do have coming up for my YouTube viewers and stuff like that. But that's where I said sometimes you have to make up some new rules, and we'll get to that in a little. No, that is the next item on my list. But Mona says, are these projects you have started and haven't finished, or are those projects you bought for a project? They are projects that are started and have not finished. So do you finish any? Yes. Yes, Mona, I finish a lot. Do you not watch my weekend review? I finish a lot of projects. So yes, do I finish as many as I would like? No, but they do get finished. And I see the little LOL after that. But speaking of the new rules coming up, is I have decided that I can only work on 3 projects at a time. So instead of working on many, many, and part of that is for those of us that are YouTube content creators, there are certain things that we do, some of us, just for our YouTube. So that adds working on projects over and above what I may be working on for my own personal use. But I need to learn to control that also and keep it down to a manageable, only working on 3 projects at a time. Just kidding, says Mona. Yeah. And that didn't come out. Yeah, I knew that is what I meant. Good morning, Gladys. It's great to see you too. So that is rule number 1 that I have decided to make for myself. But no worries, Mike. The one in the plans, that was before this rule. It will still be taking place. Two major additions projects that are coming up for my YouTube channel that are going to be rather exciting. So those are not included in the 3 and 3. So it says no judgment here. Thank you. Oh, it's okay. I can take it. Somebody should have been slapping me on the wrist or knocking me across the head a long time ago. But it's all right. And then there's always those people that, are awesome enablers. Mike, Christine. Right. So the next rule that I came up with is because I have to quit buying things also. So I can purchase one new project for every 6 that I complete, not including charity. I'm not going to include the charity ones in there. I'm not going to count them in the, ones that are completed, and I'm not going to count them in ones that I may get something for to be working on. So that is the exception to that rule. But other than that, I need to wait until I have completed 6 projects before I can allow myself to purchase something else. Of course, I can purchase fabric if needed for backing or borders. So Mike is saying ATM, ATM, ATM. And Christine says that she is going to finish the chandelier quilt this weekend. Need to sandwich it, and that's my least favorite step. Oh, okay. And Danielle says she likes that rule. Okay. So, and then the other is, and that is to schedule and stick to the schedule, which I already do schedule. So the important thing is sticking to the schedule. If you make a schedule, you have the projects, you know what you need to work on and schedule them, you can stay a lot more productive by doing that. And when I'm talking about a schedule, I have, and I think this is the third one that I'm on, but I love this scheduler because it is by the week and has a lot of room for writing everything in. So everything is scheduled, and yes, it is color coded according to category. But I do schedule everything, and then I know what day, what time of day, what I am supposed to be working on. So keeping to that schedule really helps to be a lot more productive in getting your works in progress done. Andrea says she has 8 project bags and 1 art bin. The current project is in the art bin and the next 8 are in the bags. The bags are numbered. I only buy fabric for current projects. Yes, well, most of mine, I already have all the fabric. They already started, like I said, but sometimes I may need backing or borders, and you can't complete a quilt if you don't have that, and you don't always purchase enough yardage at the time that you are starting a project for that. If you're like me, I normally wait until I am finished with a project before I start on the backing, unless it's something special and I know I want fabric from that line specifically to also be on the back. Otherwise, it can be just something that goes along with it. But I can close that up and move that. So that is the other aspect to that. And you might be wondering, how did I get on this subject this morning? It all started with trying to decide what project, let me see if I can slide that over without dropping it, what project I was going to work on this morning for stitching in the cottage. And like I normally do, instead of just choosing one that I had out that I'm already working on, I was looking at others and thinking, oh, well, I could do this, I could do this, I could do that. And that's when I stopped myself and said, no, enough, enough. I mean, it was just yesterday. Oh, it's heavy. And we're going to move that out of my way too, so I could show just yesterday. And it's still sitting here because I hadn't put it away yet. This is the project I was working on. So instead of getting out another project that is not finished, in progress, it's like, okay, stick to this one, Jean. Work on it and work on it until it is finished. And then it will be out of the way and you won't have to keep finding some place to put it. So that is what I have decided, the schedule and sticking to the schedule. And Andrea says, I have lots of fabric in my stash, but I usually need something I do not have, like a background fabric. That happens often too, but normally I do have the background fabric. Sometimes not. But my new rule, because I have such a large stash, is to pull something from my stash to use for that background fabric. Just keep going until I find something that, yes, I do have enough and that will work. No, yeah, I did forget to write this part down, and I'll get to that. Teresa, she says, Jean, does that list include quilt tops to quilt? No, that does not include the quilt tops to be quilted, and I'll get to that in just a second. I want to go over the last thing, and one of the things that actually one of the members of my channel and that is active in the Facebook group came up with, jokingly said something about, we need a whippersnappers group. She called it whippersnappers, but I think she meant whippersnappers. But so I have just started a whippersnappers club where we will meet at least once a month through Zoom for a marathon day of stitching on a whip. And that will give anyone that wants to be, you do have to be a member of my Facebook group to be able to get into that Whippersnappers Club, because it is done through that. But that will give anyone that wants an opportunity to try and work on their works in progress to go, hey, at least that is one day to set aside with some other people and actually work on a dedicated project and get some progress made on that. And now to get back to Teresa's question and the quilt tops, that comes in a totally different category. And so with Debbie says she needs batting to finish off her projects. Yes, batting is one of the other things that I allow myself always to be able to be purchased. And yay! Bravo, bravo. Happy dance, happy dance, happy dance, Mike. Mike says that he finished the quilt top last night. Awesome, awesome. That was his plan, and he stuck to it. Great. Glad to hear that. But yeah, doesn't the whippersnappers sound fun? I thought that sounded rather fun. But these are an awesome. It is hard to find a really good quilter's journal to keep track of your projects. That are you doing, the days that you work on them, how far you are, what the next step is, and that type of thing. If you like to do that, and I'm a journaler, so yes, of course I like to do that. But it's hard to find a good one that has enough space to write what you as an individual want to write in it, instead of the little spaces and categories that they give you that are never enough and never enough room. So Mike's doing the happy dance down there. But this is called a premium organizer. You can find these at Walmart, and they are really, really awesome for organizing and keeping track of your works in progress as you are doing them. And this is the one, and it says right on here, because I have two of them, it says quilts to be quilted inventory, Teresa. And in here, I have them all listed by categories. I have quilts for charity. And then, because I do different forms of quilting, I have a long arm, I have my domestic, and I do hand quilting. So I have it categorized by which ones are to be machine quilted on the domestic machine, which ones are to be done on the long arm, and which ones are to be hand quilted. But the categories that I have are quilts for charity, veterans quilts for charity, expectant veterans mothers, veterans, veterans, and then my miscellaneous quilts to hand quilts. And then my miscellaneous quilts to domestic machine quilts, and my miscellaneous quilts to be long arm quilted. And I believe, I don't remember, I had it written down, but I really don't want to say the number, but I think I have close to 70 quilts right now that need to be quilted. in one way, shape, or form of the other. But that is the inventory for the quilts that need to be quilted. And Teresa says, "Oh, I agree. I've tried so many different journals." Yes, there are some that, are cute and nice, but yeah, they just never have what I need. And Judy is saying hello to Teresa. And then this is the one that I use, and I don't know why I took that front cover off of it. And those clippies are good for things other than just your fabric and everything. It's keeping the certain projects that are taking a long time, the pages together on that, so I know where I am. But this is my quilter's journal, where it actually lists the specific, which this is one that is completed. Hopefully, it's on the first page, but I will have the name of the project, and then each day that I work on it, I write down that day. Write down what I worked on and the hours that it took. And I do that every single day until the project is done. And then you can go back and you always have all the information and everything that was for that. But that's what these clips are. They're individual projects that are in here. Some are completed. They just don't have the label and aren't quilted yet. So it's still by that. But that is how I keep track of them while I am working on them. And then when you always get the question that somebody always asks, how long did it take you to make that? You can go back and you can tell them exactly. And if they want to know on a specific day, what did you do on that quilt? I'm able to go back there and I'm able to find that out also. But just one of the things that my OCD causes me to do. But that is everything that I have for information I wanted to be able to share on organizing, scheduling, storage, all that type of thing that will help if you are someone that has multiple works in progress. I'm being able a method to still have that many and not feel like you aren't getting anything done. Having a system, an organization system, and then you will be surprised just how productive you can be in actually getting through and working through those whips. Now, in all honesty, I'm old. I have over 200 works in progress that are on the inventory. I have ones that haven't made it to the inventory yet, and I need to also do that, update it, and get those ones that have been brought into the cottage and didn't make it on that inventory so that it is up to date. Am I going to complete all of those in my lifetime? No, definitely not. Do I need to maybe go through at some point in time, which is just going to take time? So in the real realm of things, it doesn't really make sense. I know what, even though there are so many, I know what the majority of all of those works in progress are. So if there is one after I have completed 6 to start another one that I specifically know I really want to work on, I don't have to pull the number. I can go and pull that one. There's always that little leadway within a rule. It doesn't have to be that I pull a number and that is the one I work on. It's just kind of fun to have a little mystery included in it and maybe not know what project you're going to be working on next for a new one. So having that numbering system and pulling a number and yep, that's the one you work on, that comes in very nice too. But let me see what I may have missed. Debbie is saying, have a great weekend to everyone. A great holiday weekend. Be safe, everyone, if you are traveling. And Judy says, I guess I need to start journaling my quilts. It's, I started journaling when I was in 6th grade, and I have journaled every day since. So that can be a good thing. Sometimes it can be a bad thing, but the majority of the time it's a good thing. But I do have a lot of journals. And I know somebody was talking about, oh, that the other day, I forget who it was, and that doesn't really matter, but was saying something about their mother should have written a novel. Well, I haven't written a novel, but I have written pretty much my whole entire life in journals. So when I am gone and somebody comes across all of these journals, who knows whose hands it may end up in, and who knows if someone might think, some of this is interesting. Maybe we should write a book about it. You never know. You may find a book at some point in time that somebody decided to make from all the journals that I have kept over my life since the sixth grade. Of course, some of those things I would hope they wouldn't post, or wouldn't share. But and Teresa says that she loves seeing how people organize their projects. Thank you. You are very welcome. I do also, because there is always something, and I still look through and and that's why I'm always reorganizing my organization, because I see little things and I go, oh, I'd like to do this. Or I've been working in the area long enough and I know what I thought was going to work in some instances needs a little tweaking and doesn't quite work the way that I thought. So I will decide to change it up, or add things, make it easier, smoother, that type of thing. The Forensic Accounting of Jean. All right, Mike. Would be a great read. Some of it would be a great read. Hey, it could be, it could be called The Life of the Manic Quilter. I don't know. But you would definitely, on a lot of things, every once in a while, there is something I forget. I will do a quilt and I forget to enter it in one of the journals or something. But for the majority, yeah, you would be able to go through and you would be able to find out what day, what time, what I was working on when, by going through the journals. Hello there, Terry. Welcome to you. But my plans and what I have been stitching on, now that we have gotten through that long introduction and explanation of how we got to so many whips and how do you work on them and stay productive, which all led down to organization and storage. What I did decide that I was working on yesterday was a project that you have all seen me work on before. I believe I worked on it when I was on Sean, the guy who quilts, an episode with him, and it is Tulips and Tossed Greens by Kim Deal. It is this beautiful table runner that has all the yo-yos on it, which you know how fun and enjoyable I think yo-yos are to work on for some mindless stitching, and have shown more than a couple times how to make the yo-yos using the yo-yo makers. So I have the background for that made. I have all of the applique cut out and ready to go on, but before any of that can be done, all of the yo-yos need to be done and they need to be stitched on that background. So I was able to complete all of, which there's only 28 of the larger yo-yos. Those are done. And now I am working on the smaller yo-yos that there need to be 102 of those. So I have this whole stack of squares I have cut out. They are not charm squares. These are squares I cut to size for the specific yo-yo that I am using. But that is what I will be stitching on today, and we have a few minutes left in our time here, so I might even get a few of them completed. If I find where I left we've got one threaded over here, I know. We will pull that. I was going to say, if I can find where I left my needle. I have to make sure this is the correct thread, because I use upholstery thread when I do my yo-yos. Want to make sure that that thread never breaks while doing all the gathering on them. And Terry says she will be away from the keyboard priming the machine. Priming. No, priming. Okay, priming machine. We'll be listening. No problems, Terry. And Danielle says, everyone, make sure you hit the thumbs up for our hostess with the most. You are too funny, Danielle. But yes, please, if you like, you don't have to hit that thumbs up. It would be appreciated, but give me the thumbs up if you do like the content that I give you and what I have been sharing with you today. And Teresa says, I'm sure you've had a very interesting life. with lots more to come. Yes, very, very. That is true, Teresa. We all have interesting lives. This needle is a little smaller than the one I've been using, I can tell. But that's all right. We've got it pre-threaded and ready to go. And so yeah, I have 102 of these to make. And actually, the yo-yos go pretty quick. It's something you don't have to think about for the most part while you're doing. Very portable. You can sit in front of the TV, work on some yo-yos. You can be in the car. Well, I can't. I'm always the driver, so that wouldn't be a good idea. Jean will not be working on them in the car, but if you are the passenger and not driving, they're a great take-along project on a trip or whatever. So, but I have quite a few works in progress that need yo-yos. One that I decided that I have a layered hearts applique project that is one of my works in project. In fact, I think it is number one. That doesn't, mean that's the order in which they were done, and I never did number one yet. That's just how it was in the numbering system. But I wasn't sure how I was going to put it together. And I'm somebody that looks at and watches and gets a lot of ideas, too many ideas from Pinterest. And I saw how they had made a quilt and used yo-yos for the sashing between the quilt blocks instead of sashing strips. And then they also made on their outside bordered it all with yo-yos going around the outside. And that is what I have decided that I'm going to do with that layered hearts quilt. So once I am finished with the yo-yos for this one, I will randomly at times in between, following my rule, however, be working on yo-yos for that project as well. And Danielle says, yes, definitely. Step away from the needle and thread in the driver's seat. Yeah. And that always brings me back to the story of, and we'll get off subject just a little bit, but I when I have to, make a drive or something in the car, those are sometimes that I do have a little prayer time sometimes in the car while driving. And I think I was on my way to the VA, and I was praying, and for just a moment I closed my eyes, because that's what you do when you pray, right? And the radio was not on, but a voice, very deep, very quickly came across and said, "Open your eyes, you're driving." And I did. I mean, it was that split second, but it's like, yeah, have have not done, you realize, no, 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 certain things you should not be doing while you are driving, other than being on your phone. Okay. You shouldn't be doing that either. We all know that. But and so that just brought up that quick little tidbit there. But yeah. And some of the strange things we do at times. Which the yo-yo that I'm currently working on was one of the ones for the larger one, and I do not know what happened, but well, I do. I remember I somehow going up that last hole, when you go up the second time, it says the instructions very clearly warn you and tell you, make sure you don't go through your previous beginning knot. Well, somehow I did. And not only did I go through the knot, it actually split the threads in the knot. So I could not pull my thread back out. I tried, and it's like, no, it will not gather, and it will not come out when you end up going through that other knot. So rather than, I'm not going to waste that fabric, I just used it for one of the smaller ones instead, because it was still okay for that. Just couldn't get the thread out to be able to use it for the larger one. And so always always a way when we make a mistake to be able to figure out a way to still make it usable and do something with it. Which thus is one of the reasons I have so much fabric and everything, because I don't want to throw any fabric away. I want to make use of every little scrap that I have. I know many of us are like that. Very hard to get rid of things in our craft areas. Always bringing more into it. Isn't it funny how you look at things so differently when you are a creator? Because something that people would just normally quickly, throw away in the trash, you go, oh, I could use this for that, or I could make this out of that. And it's like, yeah, I know. And this is going to be funny because I know there's a lot of you out there that are listening right now or watching that have a bag of bags or several bags of empty bags. And how much space do we take up with our bags of empty bags? How many bags? I was going to say something funny there, but how many bags does one old bag need? So once in a while, you have to go through and you gotta throw the bags away. Get rid of them. I'm giving you permission. Go throw some of your bags away or take them to the recycling. That is what I normally do. They get thrown in the car. So when I go, I put them in the recycling. Hello, Sandra. It is great to see you this morning. But and Danielle says, "Yuppers, I'm definitely your daughter." But yeah, the bag of bags. Years ago. I mean, we're talking years ago because it was, a previous marriage. Husband was a smoker, and that's when they still had, the hard pack flip up top. I was saving those because I was more of, did a lot of crafting besides the quilting and sewing at that time. And I had in my mind, I pictured them as being able to make them into birdhouses. Can you imagine that? I was going to make birdhouses, decorative ones, not to be outside, out of the hard flip top cigarette empty cases. Yes. Crazy mind. I know. Oh, that's a great idea, Andrea. Very good idea. She says that she takes her empty bags to the yeah, where did it go? To the food pantry. Yeah, never thought of that. I'm sure that they do need bags. That is an awesome idea. I will remember that. Bags of grocery bags and bags of gift bags. Yeah, oh yeah, and they're separated by category, aren't they, Christine? You can't put your gift bags in with your grocery bags or your brown bags in with it. And that's like, I mean, if you are into like junk journaling or card making, there are envelopes, empty envelopes I will not throw away because I will use them. Paper bags I use to be able to reuse the brown paper in the junk journaling and card making and that type of thing. So yeah, it can really get out of hand. That is some of the stuff that, okay, I haven't been doing a lot of lately. So some of that is stored out in my husband's workshop, and some of it I finally in an organized manner have put up in the open attic area storage. And yep, Christine says definitely separate. Yes. And Kathy is leaving. Goodbye to you. Have a great day and have a great weekend, Kathy. Be safe. And I'm all the way around on this yo-yo. Don't go any farther, Jean. Don't want to do that, and we won't be able to gather it. So good. But yeah, so even though there was a lot that we covered on, you know, dealing with your works in progress, as far as storage, organization, and all that kind of thing, and how you can, some tips on being able to be productive and get work done on them. I'm actually getting some stitching done on one this morning also. So that's a win-win. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Is that what they say? And Andrew says, I used to crochet rugs with the bags, yellow bags, gray bags, and white bags, etc., but do not do much of that anymore. Yeah, I did not crochet rugs, but I crocheted the sleeping mats to roll up for the homeless out of the bags. Did several of those and donated to the homeless shelters that used them. That was a great way. You could end up with some very colorful ones. I mean, I would ask people that shopped in different stores than me that got different color bags to save their bags for me at that point in time and bring them to me. So yes, was doing a lot with doing that back then. And Teresa says, yes, save all the things, which can be okay until we realize on some of it, yep, it's gotten out of hand, and then you need to go through, which I think one time I did something with the three Ds. It wasn't one of the back when it was Tip Demo Tuesday about the D stash. I think it was the 3Ds or something, but yeah. Donate. Yeah, donate some. If you have, multiples of things and you aren't really using them, you have a donate area, um, stash, to be able to sell or have a garage sale and put it in the yeah, throw it away. I can't remember how the D came up with that, but I think those were the 3 Ds on getting rid of some of the stuff that we realize we have kept too much and need to go through. Declutter must have been one of the ones, probably. But so every once in a while, you just need to get a big box, a big container, go around, pick up things that aren't where they need to be, put the ones that you do back where they're supposed to be, first of all, and then decide, yeah, what should really be done with with the rest. Because if we aren't making, something out of all those bags we're saving, once in a while we need to get rid of a few bags of bags. Take them. We're to the, a food pantry like Andrea suggested, or back to, your store where they have the recycling bit, so at least they can be recycled, something like that. And Michelle says that her mom used to do the sleeping mats as well. Yes, they were fun to do. They could be a little hard on your hands at times, but very fun to do. And we actually got youth involved in doing that by helping to connect the strips that we would cut for the bags, connecting those together and rolling them into the balls for us. And so got some of the youth in the community involved in that project also. And they felt good knowing that they were doing something to help someone out. Which every time I have a lot of bags, I think, oh, I should do that again, but I do not need to add another major project into my life at this point. So I don't think I will do that again. Yeah, I think there's a lot of us in that category, Andrea. Oh, but put the needle down, Jean. You can work easier with your complete hand in lining this up and trying to hold on to the needle and do it at the same time. And what time do we have? Watch my time. Teresa says, I bought beads from a bead store going out of business over 10 years ago, and I still haven't used them, but they are all saved and organized. LOL. Yes, I used to make jewelry. And I used to crochet beaded jewelry also. I have a lot of beads also, Teresa, and yes, they are all organized. If you are familiar with the art bins that have the little individual 4x6 cases in them that some use for photographs or scrapbooking or beads, I think it is 4 or 5 of those that are all filled with beads or the findings, little charms and stuff that would go along with the beads. And they are in the one large cabinet that I have out in my husband's workshop. They are no longer taking up the space in here. But that is where I go out and I get beads when I'm doing the slow stitching project. Now, I take from what I used to make for that. So I'm still making use of the beads, just in a different way. A lot of that stuff can come in for things other than what we originally purchased them for. Because we have creative minds, remember? We come up with all kinds of ideas. And of course, there are some people that add beads to their quilts. Beautiful. They can turn out beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pieces of art. Excuse me. Forgot I did make coffee before I sat down here. Luckily, I do have it on the warmer, so it should not be cold. Lori sees she is done with digging. Hubby took the stapler to work. I'm thinking of ways to work with weed fabric. All right. Who knew there is fabric in garden? Well, yeah, there is. That weeding fabric. I've used that many times. I choose not to anymore because it seems to get in the way and tear and come up when you're weeding sometimes, or if you're planting a new plant and stuff over time. And sometimes it gets in the way. So I used to use the weeding fabric a lot. I just have chosen I don't use it anymore. But and Mona is saying, be right back, bye. Oh, okay. See you in an hour, Mona. Okay. Oh, yes, it's Friday. It's again, on Thursday, I always forget that I have a live on Friday morning. I think I have another day between Thursday and Friday. And all of you know there's not another day between Thursday and Friday. But for some reason, I always think there is. And Teresa says, I thought I might use them in art quilts. That's why I'm keeping them now. Always a reason to keep things. Yes, there is. And that's like, even you all know, because I've said it enough, that I'm in the process of doing a huge destash. But I know that it is going to be so difficult to let go of anything. But I have got to, because I have way, 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 way too much. And my poor sons are not going to want to have to deal with it when I am gone. And so I will try to help them out while I'm still here. And Pat Boo says hello to everyone. Hello to you as well. And Mike says the D stash. We'll call it Jean. Yeah, instead of so yeah. Is that it? I get the play on words there, Mike. And Eva is here this morning. Good morning to you. She says hello, Elsa Jean. Hello, everyone. How are you doing today? Doing awesome today so far, Eva. Great. How are you doing? And so Terry says that she uses plastic bags to protect the mechanics on machine when painting. Yes, I call it stuffing if you have seen my videos. That is an awesome way to make use of them. Always, always ways. That's why we just don't get rid of anything. See, there's always another use for them. And we know that. As my grandmother used to say, it's becoming a throwaway world. No. If only some of us, could part with some things. But oh, a throwaway society, I think is what she would call it. Throwaway. A moment of silence. Write that down in your journals, everyone. Today, Friday, 11:57 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jean had a moment of silence. Sorry. Oh, and Judy says that her husband grew up with a mother that was raised in the Depression and got his hoarding skills from his mother. Yes, the kids and I would declutter every time he would go out of town for work. And yes, I understand that very well. Very well. Yes, Andrea was mentioning about, others being raised in the depression and getting their hoarding tendencies from them. Yes, a lot of us fall in that category. And Andrea says, when I was working, I bought fabric kits and all kinds of supplies because I knew I would not be able to buy them when I was retired. A hurricane, flood, and house fire ruined that plan, but all is fine. Yeah, that happens. And I also used that plan when I was working. I worked at a quilt shop, therefore, the reason for the majority of my stash. And I purchased, and when somebody would say something, I would say, it is an investment for my retirement. Well, I think 20 women could, retire on my stash and still not use it all up. So just saying, I made sure I really was set for retirement. Either that or I can't die until I'm 225 years old, something to that effect. So yes, you have, Andrew. She has been blessed with winning what I need. God is good. Yes, he is. He's also good in those of us that do have, enough in giving us a charitable heart to also give, through charity and other means and share what we do have. So there is that also. Eva says hello to Michelle. She's busy with the grandbabies. Just thought I would lurk for a while. Okay. I would love to see my grandbabies. And Lori says, I took my crafting hoard as my retirement plan or marriage counseling, depending on how you look at it. That's a good one. Like that. Oh, I don't know what I can call it anymore, but out of control. Or semi-controlled chaos. I don't know, but we will bring the Fisher woman back in me and reel it in. That's that will be it. I will remember that when I'm tempted by those awesome enablers out there. Just to remember the fishing analogy and reel it in. Yeah. Reel it back. Let it get off the hook. That's the fish that wants to go, let it back. Throw it back into the lake to grow up for somebody else to catch later. Uh, and Teresa says, oh, my husband keeps everything. He is really bad about it. I'd be okay with it if it was at least organized. Yeah, and my husband is the opposite of me. It's nothing very easy for him to just get rid of things. Yeah, myself a little bit harder. So it's a good thing that we both aren't ones that just can't get rid of anything. I guess that's a good thing. But so before we leave, what are everyone's plans for the holiday weekend? How many of you are having cookouts, your first cookout of the season? How many of you are going to be traveling? And how many of you are going to be staying at home or working on a whip? Me. I'm surprised. Where is he? Laying over there on the floor. I'm surprised he didn't get up when I said that. Whip is here on the floor, laying there in his favorite little spot, sleeping. And Pat Boo says that she is organized as well, can't stand clutter. And Judy says, now that we're retired, I have a hard time getting him to declutter. And Christine says, whip for her. Awesome. Awesome. And I do realize it is a holiday weekend, but there are a lot of us that do not have plans, do not do anything just because it is a holiday weekend. And my Zoom stitch day for the Facebook group is always the last Saturday of the month, which is tomorrow. So I still will be having that for any of you that are planning or want to come. That still will be taking place. I believe it is 1 o'clock until 5 o'clock. Eastern Standard Time. So that still will be there. So those of you that are planning on working on whips or, just are going to be stitching anyway, want some company, some great chat. We always have an awesome time in the Zooms. Make sure that you check the Facebook group out for the information for that Zoom and everything. It will be in a post shortly. Yeah, Teresa Louise's husband still has clothes from 40 years ago. Oh, I think my husband does too. What is it with that? But Anne Lori says gardening and pool work by day. Good goddess of cross stitch by night. Okay, awesome, Lori. That sounds like a great plan. And Debbie says staying home, but have to attend 2 graduation parties on Sunday. All right, well, have a great time. And Carol will be staying home and sewing. Judy says, I will be staying local and doing some sewing, celebrating my granddaughter's graduation, and a couple of cookouts to go to. Well, that sounds like a busy and a fun weekend, Judy. I think we are supposed to have rain, so I don't think I will be planning a cookout. I will do the cooking inside instead. We do have a covered deck, but I don't like to bring the grill underneath the covered part. And Pat Boo is going to be finishing up a queen quilt on a domestic juki. All right. Good times. See, we know. All of us quilters, crafters, creatives, we still love our first love is whatever craft that we do. So always scheduling. And of course, if you are someone that works, I think that one missed the fabric. I do. I'm going to lay that down because that stitch I don't think went through the fabric. We're going to correct that in just a minute when we get up here, off here. But thank you everyone for joining me today. I hope that the beginning part of this going over, works in progress and how to organize, store, and have a plan in action for being productive and getting those done. Maybe gave you some new ideas you haven't thought of before, or maybe just tweaking some of the ones that you already have, or some that you go, oh, no, I don't want to do that. And that's fine too, or that you will, when you come up with them. And if you are in the Facebook group or any of the groups that I have, share that information. People are always looking for awesome ideas and ways to organize or streamline, make their crafting and creating world better. So share it with us. If you remember something, go back. You don't have to watch the replay, but add it in the comments of the live after this is over so that we can go back and read those and see what everyone has for a suggestion on some awesome type of organization or planning or scheduling that they have. 111 heat. 111. I thought you were going to be talking about some type of stabilizer or transferees or something. 111 heat index this weekend. Nothing outside for me, but making sure the bunnies are taken care of. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of misting down those bunnies, Andrea. A lot of trips in and out. I'm sorry. And Lori says, thank you for keeping me company while I dig. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, Lori. Glad to be of assistance. And Teresa says, thanks for the organizing information. Thumbs up and great chat. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. And the same to each and every one of you. Have a very enjoyable holiday weekend. Be safe if you are traveling. Be safe if you are doing any outside activities, and make sure that you stay hydrated if you are being out in the heat, and wear your sunscreen. There you go. Got all those little tips in there as well. But I will see you again on Wednesday afternoon for it's tip demo time, and who knows what I may be sharing then. I will see some of you hopefully tomorrow in the Facebook group monthly Zoom Stitch Day. So take care, everyone. Goodbye to those of you saying goodbye. Daughter Debbie, bye bye. Take care. And remember, almost forgot, in the meantime, I can keep you in stitches. Bye bye, everyone.